Hello, I am Roxanne Curl, and I'm here to provide some valuable information about the effects of employee empowerment, interpersonal communication, and workplace stress. In the end, I will provide my recommendations for your company. Employee empowerment is all about giving some authority to employees and enabling them to problem solve and make decisions. Empowered employees can become more self-sufficient, taking initiative and showing responsibility for their actions, and be more proactive, striving to achieve more goals for their organization. As a matter of fact, these empowered employees tend to align their personal goals with that of the organization and have a higher sense of commitment. This sense of responsibility, accountability, and trust leads to motivation and fulfillment in workers who experience it. Brown, in the text Experiential Approach to Organizational Development, states that employees develop a feeling of psychological ownership, leading to concern, interest, commitment, and responsibility. Employees who have not been empowered show a lower performance and skill level due to lower job satisfaction. The lower the job satisfaction, the less likely a worker is to provide excellent customer service, go beyond expectations, or rush to meet deadlines. Empowerment is not a standalone concept and works best in conjunction with other techniques like performance management, leadership, teamwork, and communication. Some positive effects of empowering an employee are they are more open to feedback because they are part of the decision-making process they are being evaluated on. They provide an increased attention to detail because of the more responsibility, which adds to their effectiveness and that of the organization. They provide better customer service based on the increase of job satisfaction and fulfillment. Empowered employees experience a level of ownership that gives them a drive for excellence. In the current market, exceptional customer service is no longer a competitive advantage. It is actually expected by most. Employees also gain more skills because they are open to new experiences and feedback, become more involved, and show accountability due to the trust put in. Many of these concepts lead to the increase of loyalty and dedication from an empowered worker. Fulfillment and satisfaction move employees from the concept of "I just work here" to being an integral part of the organization and its vision. There are some specific tools that managers and leaders can use to empower employees. These are the concepts I suggest the company engage in to enhance their workforce. Providing sufficient training is an important tool because it enhances any employee's performance. The organization needs to have a fully comprehensive and completed training program that is clear and well organized. A gap analysis should be assessed to gauge the skills of the current workforce and the tasks needed of the company. This will give the organization feedback on the needs and efficiency of the current training program. This feedback and other forms should be provided and examined continuously. Training provides empowerment because employees feel that they have the ability to successfully complete tasks. Lack of skills leads to frustration and stress. Effective delegation seems like a simple concept, but can be easily overlooked. When a manager delegates a task, they must also provide as much information as needed and all possible resources and tools. If an employee is missing any of these, they will easily become frustrated. Not understanding what they are doing or why reduces motivation, An employee may very well not even finish a task if they don't understand or do not have the resources to do it, making them wonder if they were set up to fail. This is the opposite of empowerment. Confidence is expressed by managers and leaders to empower an employee. When a manager outwardly expresses his or her confidence in the ability of an employee to do a task or perform exceptionally, it gives an individual a boost that drives them to meet the demand. Setting goals outside of a worker's position is a form of showing confidence in them. For example, an employee who is merely a basic customer service representative is given the task of cross-training other department members on working the phone lines. Cross-learning or training techniques allow employees to venture out of their own departments and gain knowledge, skills, and abilities from other areas. This allows them to view the organization from multiple perspectives, enhancing their leadership abilities. As mentioned before, sufficient resources must be provided in order for any individual to effectively problem solve. If there is a lack of resources, the employee must depend more on the manager, taking away from their autonomy and reducing productivity. The final tool is to make sure that the authority provided is the appropriate level. Authority must be realistic and adhere to the guidelines provided by the organizational policies and procedures. An entry-level employee should not be providing others with yearly performance evaluations when it's the job of specifically the managers. The authority must also coincide with the skills an employee has. Giving a worker a task that is above their ability is frustrating to them and does not aid the organization in reaching their goals. Interpersonal communication is a necessary factor in organizational development because basically all companies have members that must interact with each other or stakeholders at some point in time. Interpersonal communication simply can be defined as any verbal, written, or nonverbal communication between two parties. When speaking from an organizational sense, it can be viewed as interactions between organizational members to work towards the organizational goals. As mentioned, nearly all forms of business consist of some version of interpersonal communication. The inability to communicate effectively can affect an individual's ability to achieve success and reduce overall organizational effectiveness and daily workflow. Interpersonal skills are needed to successfully provide clear and concise details and accounts of company policies and procedures. When these concepts are incoherent or unclear, employees may be confused or misinterpret ideas. If teamwork is involved, interpersonal communication is vital. Many companies consist of non-formal teams, if not specific project or task teams. These teams could simply be the department a worker is in because of their need to work together to reach a goal. Teams that lack interpersonal skills are ineffective and lack productivity and innovation. There is likely stress and dysfunctional outcome conflict. The ability to communicate clearly and concisely and give directions and ideas minimizes the possibility of unorganized concepts, misunderstandings, or confusion. There are a few key concepts that are indicative of a person who has exceptional interpersonal communication skills. Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage and identify the feelings of oneself and others. Those who lack emotional intelligence can find themselves in negative interactions that can be stressful or have dysfunctional conflict outcomes. Empathy is the ability to understand someone else's perspective or reasoning. It is basically like putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Empathetic people can make better decisions based off of thorough understanding and are considered more trustworthy because of their authentic persona. Empathy is difficult to fake and should not be tried to. It can lead to genuine relationships when done effectively. Self-awareness refers to the ability to reflect on your own behaviors and how to affect others. Becoming aware of how your actions are perceived allows you to adjust this behavior and communicate more effectively. Those who are skilled at communicating show the ability to articulate their thoughts through any medium or channel richness. When a skilled communicator delivers their intended message, it is received with no misinterpretations. The Johari window is my recommendation for developing interpersonal communication. This concept is a way to understand one's own communication style and how it affects their interpersonal interactions. The Johari window was created to address the formal communication that we all experience in the workplace. This formal communication concept us to wear a sort of mask when interacting with each other, making us seem shallow and not authentic, reducing effectiveness of communication. The window itself addresses the sources of information. The two sources of information are self and others, placed along the vertical and horizontal axis. Movement along these axes change the interpersonal style. The first style is public. This is things that are known to ourselves and to others. This is our open public image. The larger this area is, the more effective communication is, due to the mutually shared information involved. If we move horizontally, we see the blind style. This is when we do not know the aspects of ourselves, but they are known to others. This is when others can see through our act or ingenuine behavior. This style has no self-awareness. An extreme example of this type may be the addict who is unaware of his or her own problems, but is very apparent to those around them. If we go vertically downward, there is the unknown style. This is what's not known to ourselves or others, and this can be a repressed or unconscious thought. People can become aware of these aspects eventually, but this style is focused on less in a professional setting. If we move again horizontally to the left, we see the closed style. This style is when aspects of ourselves are only known to us and not to others. This can be considered a protective style. We sometimes use this to hide our feelings or behaviors we fear could harm ourselves or our self-image or how we are perceived by others. It is commonly used when we are first introduced to another individual, but over time we reveal more and become more open. The reason these concepts are so important is because the focus on disclosure and feedback. Disclosure can be seen when we move from the defensive enclosed area to open up to others, becoming more public. This shows others trust and allows them to do the same. It also opens ourselves up to feedback from others, reducing our blind area. When our blind spot is reduced, we have better interpersonal skills, but the reduction of the blind area can only be achieved through the cooperation of others and one's own willingness to accept feedback.